Good morning, Lakeview Intermediate. Principal Hine. I'm Principal Scott Hine. Since we have lots of guests with us here today, I want to introduce myself, and we'll have some other members of my team on the broadcast here shortly. But welcome to a very special Lakeview Intermediate Liftoff Live. I'm broadcasting from the Lakeview Pit with some great student artwork behind me to celebrate this very special day. And Lakeview students, this is an important day. Veterans Day is a day where we recognize those in our community, our school community, who might be with us, who have served in our nation's armed forces, are currently serving, have served. Maybe some are watching from overseas. Maybe we even have, I would love a shout out if there's somebody who is a member of our Lakeview community. Maybe you're a parent who's serving overseas and you're watching this broadcast. Please comment. I would love to see that. I would love to know that we're touching base with people across the world to honor you. And we hope today you feel just as honored, loved, and appreciated as you are as we celebrate this day. So students, it's an important day to remember our great country and those who have helped make it and keep it great, the veterans amongst us. I'm going to start by reading a presidential proclamation on Veterans Day. And this kind of sets the stage for what Veterans Day is all about. On November 11th, Americans commemorate the service, sacrifice, and immeasurable contributions of our nation's veterans who have proudly worn our country's uniform to defend and preserve our precious liberty. As we celebrate Veterans Day, we pause to recognize the brave men and women who have fearlessly and faithfully worked to defend the United States and our freedom. Their devotion to duty and patriotism deserves the respect and admiration of our grateful nation each and every day. We are forever thankful for the many heroes among us who have bravely fought around the world to protect us all. As Americans, it is our sacred duty to care for and support those who have shown courage and conviction in selfless service to our country. Time after time throughout the history of our republic, veterans have defended our way of life with integrity, dedication, and distinction. In respectful recognition of the contributions our service members have made to advance peace and freedom around the world, the Congress has provided that November 11th of each year shall be set aside as a legal public holiday to honor our nation's veterans. Today, we pledge to always fight for those who have fought for us, our veterans who represent the best of America. They deserve our prayers, our unending support, and our eternal gratitude. At this time, I'd like to bring in Ms. Tazi, our assistant principal. Good morning, Ms. Tazi.
Good morning.
And I would like you to please lead us in the pledge, and then we'll have the Star-Spangled Banner.
Yes, please go ahead and quietly stand and get ready for our Pledge of Allegiance. Your right hand is over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our Star-Spangled Banner.
Whose precious and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er rivers we loved, were so gallantly strewn, and rounded to the monster singing, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Saint Joseph's our Savior, now, for the land of the free and the home of love.
Thank you. You may be seated. I'd like to introduce our 6th grade performance choir. They are going to perform A World of Thanks.
I'm getting it here. It takes me a moment. Apologize for the delay. Here we go.
Great job, 6th grade performance choir. We know that you guys spent a lot of time and put in a lot of hard work on that. So such a great job. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt you, Mrs. Baker and Miss Liggett have worked really hard directing them, and they had to do that all under the COVID conditions with masks and everything. And I know that they would love for those kids to be up in front of the school at our Veteran Assembly on the risers and singing in front of everybody to see their faces. But this was the next best thing. You all sounded great.
Now I'd like to introduce students that are reading the poem, The Noble and the Brave. This poem has 24 lines and we have 24 homerooms. So we have one student from each homeroom reading a line from this poem. We'd like to thank these students for the wonderful job that they did on their poem.
They did. I had lots of fun going around and visiting with them and having them do these lines. So this is so cool. I'm so excited to share this. Here we go.
When America had an urgent need, these brave ones raised a hand. No hesitation held them back. They were proud to take a stand. They left their friends and family. They gave up normal life to serve their country and their God. They plowed into the strife. They fought for freedom and for peace on strange and foreign shores. Some lost new friends, some lost their lives in long and brutal wars. Other veterans answered the call to support the ones who fought. Their country had requirements for the essential skills they brought. We salute every one of them, the noble and the brave, the ones still with us here today, and those who rest in a grave. So here's to our country's heroes. They're cut above the rest. Let's give the honor that is due to our country's very best.
Awesome. I love that. Didn't they do great, Miss Tazi?
They did a fantastic job.
So that's special. We'll be sharing that out later today on our school Facebook page so that everybody can see it. That's my favorite part because we got kids on screen sharing, and I wish we could have had more involved, but that y'all did a great job because you represented our student body very, very well. So thank you for doing that. All right. Thank you, Ms. Tazi, for helping us out. I'm going to switch you out for a new guest because we have a distinguished speaker to come visit with us today. Normally, we'd be in the gym and we would have a podium, and we always have someone come in and talk about what Veterans Day means. And Ms. Tazi, today we're going to bring in I love this because we have somebody who is not only an honored and distinguished veteran of our armed forces. He's been in the U.S. Army. He was in the U.S. Army for 22 years. He served, I believe, in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Germany, far off places, as well as places all over the United States. But not only is he a distinguished veteran of the United States Army, he's part of our Lakeview family. And I think that's even better when we have people who have served our nation and then they're among us. And sometimes we don't even realize these people are around us who've been heroes to our country. So I'm going to bring him in. Ms. Tazi, I know you know him well, and I know we have students in our school who absolutely love this man. And so I'm going to trade you out. Thanks for helping us out. And I'm going to bring in First Sergeant Fernando Zamaripa, lovingly known by our kids as Mr. Z. How are you, sir?
Fine, Mr. Hines. Fine.
Good to see you today.
Oh, it's great to be here. Especially on this day. It's a great day and it's a sad day.
Yeah. Tell me that's an interesting thing you say. Tell me why it would be a sad day for you.
Well, you grow attached to people that you want to help throughout their lives. And the kids that I have, they touch me in so many ways that I feel like they're one of my own. It's like saying goodbye again, like when I did to my child, Miss Rose, when she was a little girl, when I had to go away to faraway lands to take care of the job that we had to do. And when I had to say goodbye to her, that was the hardest thing I had to do. It's not goodbye, kids, but I'm still going to be around for you.
That's beautiful. So Mr. Z, for those that are watching who don't know, he is he's been a long-term guest teacher, or sometimes we call him substitutes, but he's so much more than that. He joined our team in the midsummer to help prepare for covering for Miss Starkey, who had a baby, and he's been with us since the summer. And so, sometimes guest teachers are with us for a day, a few hours, and, they can make a difference certainly in that time. But when you do what Mr. Z has done and done it during a pandemic, I mean, you came in this summer and did all the training to do all the computer stuff, so that we could deliver learning at home if we had to, which we ended up having to do. So you got trained on a totally new system with the rest of us. And then we came back to in-person school again in a pandemic with masks and all kinds of protocols and everything. And I know that the students in Pod 1 have absolutely adored having you as their teacher. So this is Mr. Z's last day officially as that guest teacher. And when you've done that for the amount of time, that means so much to our staff, our students, and I know to you, as you said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a challenge, and I was always willing to accept the challenge to learn something new. That's the thing about learning that I've always thought about the entire time when I was in the military, teaching young soldiers how to operate and how to maintain. I had to teach them how to learn how to fight. I had to teach them how to survive in bad conditions. But in the schools, the same thing. I'm not teaching them to fight, but I'm teaching them to learn and to succeed. And I had to do that by learning new techniques, which I'm not quite used to. That wasn't quite used to be like before. Before I was just chalk and chalkboard back in the olden days. But now it's all computerized. I said, oh my gosh. I'd like to thank the other teachers in the pod, especially Ms. Dobrinsky and Ms. Peak, or Ms. McCormick now, and Ms. Godwin for the assistance they gave me. And Ms. Taryn Ellis, you're great. You are one great person, and Ms. Bustos for their assistance in all this time they had to go through.
Well, you're a beloved member of our team, whether you're here officially or not. We're going to see you in our hallways again after today. I know our teachers, you're going to be in high demand. So let's talk about, your service in the military, because Veterans Day today obviously is a very special day. And someone like me who has not served in the armed forces, I'm always trying to find ways to say thank you, because I am so grateful for the wonderful nation I live in and the freedoms I have, to people like you who've sacrificed so much. Like you said, your family, to leave your family for years and miss so many things for your country. Tell us first about your service in the military. Tell us what you did.
Well, when I first came in, I was with the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment, and I was stationed in Europe. And while in Europe, my job was to patrol the communist borders, and it's also known as the Iron Curtain, against communism. And that's exactly what I swore to do, is to defend our Constitution, our way of life and freedoms from the communists. So I did that for 10 years. I patrolled up and down the borders, and that's where I spend most of my time, even on birthdays and holidays, and missing my kids on Christmas, missing my kids on Thanksgiving, because I was always out there on the border patrolling, protecting America from the communist wall, on the communist wall. So I did that for several years, and I have close bonds with the soldiers I served with. We became close brothers. As a matter of fact, as of today, we're still in contact. After all these years, we're still in contact because they are my brothers now. We became brothers as soon as we put our hand up and swore that we're going to defend our Constitution. We became brothers, and a band of brothers. And so that's where I was at the very beginning. And like I said, I served in all over the United States. I served with the 1st Armored Division, the 3rd Infantry Division in Saudi Arabia, and then to Egypt with the 3rd Army when I was down there during the Somalia conflict. I climbed the pyramids while I was there. I was able to do that on my off time. Believe it or not, I had off time, but I was able to climb the pyramids. And during all that time frame, I fell in love with history. All of my travels, all the places I've been, I fell in love with history. So I was able to, and of course, I missed all my kids. That was the biggest part. But I knew something that was bigger in life, and bigger in life was to defend the freedoms that I had for my kids, my family, and of course the United States. That way they can enjoy the life that they don't have to suffer. Believe me, I saw a lot of suffering when I was out there, especially on the borders, the communist borders, out there in the deserts and Egypt. I saw a lot of suffering, and I just hope it never happens here in the United States. And that's one of the things I fought for, and that's what kept me going. 22 years, that's a long time.
That is.
I enjoyed every one of them, and I wouldn't mind going back and doing it again. I would love to go back and do it again. As a matter of fact, us old soldiers, we would love to go back and do it again.
I hear that often. That's awesome. Can you tell us why, like the very first, when you thought, I'm going to go join the Army, what was the first reason? Because we might have some kids who are like, I don't know if I want to go into the military. What made you feel called to do that? And how old were you?
Oh, gee whiz. I was still in my late teens. I had barely turned 20. And life back then in the late 60s and early 70s was bad due to all the drugs, and it was just a terrible time. High school was a struggle. Barely made it through. But when I did, I went ahead and joined. And plus, the reason being a struggle is that I came from a poor family, a poor, large family. And we had the minimal means of things in order to get by. But one thing that struck me when, as I was growing up at my late teens, my mom used to tell me, every generation will get better. And I've always remembered that. To this day, I've always remembered what my mother said. Every generation will get better, son. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. So with that, I went and joined the military, and hopefully to get a new start in life. And so that was my goal, is to make every generation, my family at least, better. And so far, I think I've succeeded. I'm thankful that the good Lord had watched over me through all the hard times that I had to go through, and made it back, so that way now I can enjoy those freedoms and to pass on with the kids today in school. So I just want to pass on that message to the kids in school, is to, hey, guys, let's learn and succeed. Let's make your next generation, when you have your own, better.
I love that. My parents tried to instill in me. I remember them always telling me, leave a place better than you found it.
Yeah.
And that can apply to so many aspects of life. And you reminded me of that just now. You made a country better than you found it, along with your brothers and sisters in the military. And then you come into a school. You can come into a school after that military service, and you can make a school. Because I promise you, I'm the principal. I've been here quite a while. You have made Lakeview a better place than it was before you were here. And so I love that. I see that in you, and I want our kids to see that just because you're new to a place doesn't mean you can't be part of making it better. I love that message.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
What does it mean to you to serve your country? When we say, oh, thank you for your service, thank you for serving your country, can you tell the kids, what does that mean to you to have done that?
What it means to me is that I had the honor and the privilege of serving you. Okay, that's what it means. It means that I did my part for my nation. I did my part for my community, and I will want to continue to do that. And thank you for recognizing me, for thanking me for that. But I want to thank you. Thank all the little ones that are out there showing patriotism and flying their flags and putting on their uniform clothes on, red, white, and blue. To me, that's inspiring, and that's thanks enough. So with that, gee whiz, just go home. When you go home, you see your parents or any family member that has been in the military. Hey, I know you can go home and hug your parents and stuff like that if they serve. Hey, thank them. They're doing so much for you, and I'm sure they'll just say, by saying thank you, they'll be grateful.
Well, you kind of touched on my last question. My last question was, if I'm a student, I'm like, how can I best honor a veteran today? You just said, is there anything else they can do in their daily walk that honors veterans and what you have done? What makes you feel good as a veteran to see kids do? And how can they honor you and your brothers and sisters in the military?
Well, like I said, it's just a simple thank you. Just a simple thank you. Because the guys that are veterans, and you see them all the time out there when you go out and go shopping at restaurants and so forth. You see them wearing their ball caps, the baseball caps, and showing where they have served. They are proud of who they served with, okay, of what they did. They're proud. And just by wearing that, and you go coming up and just thanking them, that's enough. Just a simple thank you goes a long way. And that brings, every time I go out, I do the same. They do the same thing with me. I'm very appreciative for the thanks. Gee whiz, and continue on with your patriotism examples, guys. That's all I'm asking. Continue and try to help others to understand what patriotism really means. Okay, it's the love of your country. It's the love of the freedoms that you have. Believe me, other places in the world do not have all the freedoms that you guys have. And for me to be part of an institution that help protect those freedoms, for you to enjoy that, and then you say thank you for that, I am grateful.
Very good. Well, First Sergeant Fernando Zamaripa, we are thrilled to have you at our school community. I know you mean the world to your kids. We hope you have a wonderful last day. And again, let's give you that heartfelt thank you for your service and for joining us today.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
I wrote something a while back, several years ago, when I was telling some veterans, and this is what I wrote to them. I said, on this Veterans Day, I would like to extend my thanks to all who wore the uniform of the United States. You've endured hardships, loneliness, and the worst of times throughout your careers. But you triumph by enjoying the freedoms that you swore to protect. Again, thank you for your service to our great nation. Have a great and honorable Veterans Day, my comrades in arms.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. It's an honor to have you here, an honor to have you on this program today, and we salute you and the veterans in your life.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. Thank you, Lakeview. Love you.
We love you too, sir. All right. That's what it's all about. And I want to tell you, I've even had students, sadly, we couldn't have our Veterans Assembly in our gym today, and normally we have 100 or 150 veterans in uniform. Students, I've had former Lakeview students. I've been here 23 years. And so I've been here long enough where I've had kids come back in uniform as young men and women. And they were here when they were 11 years old. And I've seen them at our veterans assemblies when they're now 22. And they've been overseas and they've been serving. And that has been some of the most powerful thing to me. It makes me so proud as a principal. And I know it makes our teachers proud. We've had tears in our eyes with pride seeing our students who have served our country in that way. And you might not serve in the military, but all we can do as great citizens of our great country is to find ways to contribute positively to make our country as great as it is. I choose to do that as a principal. Many do it in the military. Your teachers have chosen to teach and educate to make our population a better place with great citizens. Everybody pitches in to make America great. So today it's all about our veterans. So thanks again to Mr. Z for joining us. Okay, normally what we would do, and we're almost done, we play the Armed Forces Tribute, it's a medley of songs for each branch of the Armed Forces. And normally we have our guests seated, and then they stand for the branch. When they play their branch's song, they stand for that to be honored. So we're going to play a version of that so we can recognize and remember those in our families and lives who have served. And so I'm going to try to get this working. I'm going to get the Armed Forces medley on screen, and we'll watch it, and then we'll start to close our program. We're almost done. All right, trying to get there.
United States Coast Guard. United States Air Force. United States Marines. United States Army.
It is our honor to introduce the distinguished chairman of the Joint Chiefs of...
Didn't need to do that one yet. I apologize. I don't know why the video wasn't showing full screen. I made it full screen on my screen, and I guess there wasn't a picture. So I apologize that we had to make it small. But at least you could hear it. And I know that our veterans, when they hear their song, that just probably brings an enormous amount of pride and memories and of their comrades and just, it's got to be powerful. So I love that part. Okay, we're almost done. I'd like to, first off, I got to get this. This is important because I just said we never know who amongst us is a veteran. And so I wanted to share with you all before we wrap up. All right. Look at this. So we have some staff members who are also veterans besides Mr. Z. Take a look. I'd like to reintroduce to you Staff Sergeant Jamie Harden. Mrs. Harden is one of our LEAP teachers at Lakeview. She's an active member of the U.S. Army Reserve. She has been serving for 20 and a half years. I got so much pride. I mean, I got tears in my eyes. I'm going to be honest with you. Having people on my team who are here fighting for kids every day, but also giving their times, nights, weekends, vacations. I know Mrs. Harden has spent weekends, cold weekends, stormy weekends outside doing drills and in bad weather. And then she comes to school Monday morning and teaches. I have so much admiration and pride in my heart. So, Staff Sergeant Jamie Harden, we salute you. Also, E6 Technical Sergeant Chantel Ellis, our PE teacher, U.S. Air Force, 10 years in the U.S. Air Force. And now we get to have her as our PE teacher. Coach Ellis, Technical Sergeant Ellis, we salute you and thank you for your service. And again, look at this. Look at this young man. First Sergeant Fernando Zamaripa, again, 22 years, Germany, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, serving our nation. Very, very proud to have you all on our team. I also would like to recognize, before we close, and I know I'm about out of time, students. I know that there are some of you right now who have family members who are not home. They might be overseas. They might be serving in another part of the country, might be in another country, and they are serving in our military right now. And when you go home at night, they're not there, and you miss them every day because they are serving the country for us. And so I want everyone around to know, and I wish I could visit each classroom in the moment, because normally we do this in front of everybody in the gym, and it helps remind me as well. But if you are helping out at home by getting your schoolwork done, helping out with chores, helping a parent who is the one left behind while someone is serving overseas, you are making a sacrifice for your family as well. And I want your class and your pod to salute you. So if you have someone who's not home because they are serving right now, will you please stand in your class? And if you have someone in your class who's standing up, will you all please applaud them, give them a cheer for me, and thank them for their service to their family? Thank you for doing that. That's so important. I appreciate that. And so I salute our students who are sacrificing for our country as well by supporting your family. That's awesome. And again, please comment in the YouTube comments. If you are a guest watching this broadcast and you are military, please comment who you are, where you are. If you're outside of Oklahoma, we'd love to know that you're watching, and we salute you. Okay, in closing, we are going to pause for a moment of silence. And then I'm going to play one more video, and the video is a song called Taps. And Taps is a very sacred song, and it elicits big, deep emotions because it's oftentimes when we remember those who are no longer with us, who have served our country. So we're going to close this program by doing a moment of silence, and then we'll play Taps, and that's going to end the program. I'm not going to say anything else. All right? And I wish you all a very good day. I do want to thank Miss Tazi for her help as my assistant principal in getting this program together, Mrs. Baker and Miss Liggett, her student teacher who worked with the 6th grade performance choir. You all were wonderful. Thank you for adding music to our program. And thank you to the 24 students who helped me put together that poem for our school to enjoy, and using your voice to recognize our veterans. Okay, at this time, we will pause for a moment of silence, and then we'll play Taps, and that closes our program. Veterans in our family, we hope you feel as honored, loved, and appreciated as you are today. Thank you so much. It's like paying off $1 million debt with a rusty penny. It never feels like enough. But thank you so much for serving our nation and making it great for all of us. Our moment of silence begins now.